Hey guys, VideoJames, and today we're going to be looking at how to use Feraligatr. Now, Feraligatr is actually one of my favorite starters, and I think it actually is my first starter. I'm pretty sure the first starter I ever actually started playing a game with was actually Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and I did actually start with Totodile just because he was so adorable. Like, Totodile instantly shot into my heart once I saw him. He was so cute. And then we see he turns into Feraligatr, and he's just strong boy. But anyway, Feraligatr is one of the 3 Johto starters, and if you don't know, up until X and Y, the Johto starters didn't really have their hidden abilities released for some reason. They didn't really have the hidden abilities actually come out for a while after the Johto games, which surprised a lot of people, because you would have thought that they would have came out a lot sooner than that. But since then, Pokemon has tried to release hidden abilities a lot sooner. I think Greninja's hidden ability got out like a month after X and Y actually launched. But anyway, we see Feraligatr, pure water type, one of the rarest types we see now, actually, that a lot of the time we just see water poison, we see water ground if we see a Quagsire. We don't see pure waters that often anymore, unless it's just a Pyukumuku. And then we see Feraligatr is only getting those 2 weaknesses to electric and grass that comes from a water type, but he is getting that super effectiveness on fire, ground, rock, and with his move pool, he is actually switching into stuff like bug and dragon and fairy. And then we see, when we look at Feraligatr stats, we see that he's kind of just got a basic brawler stat. That we've got 85 in the HP, 105 in the attack, 100 in the defenses, decent special attack and speed, both being at like 78 and 79. And then we see he's got 83 in the special defense. So he's kind of tanky while at the same time being a good sweeper, and that actually kind of makes him a little overpowered in my opinion, that he's got enough stats to kind of work for both. And then we go over to Showdown, and we see the first set we got is a Life Orb Feraligatr set. Now, Feraligatr is not really one of those Pokemon that can work with like Choice Scarf or Choice Band. I mean, you can use that, but honestly, Feraligatr does need a boost to his stats, and honestly, Choice Scarf or Choice Band isn't going to be able to provide both of the boosts that you need, considering that he needs power up in both his attack and his speed. So we see the first set with Feraligatr is a Life Orb Sheer Force with Dragon Dance, Waterfall, Ice Punch, and Earthquake. That with us having Sheer Force, we get an extra boost to power on all moves that have secondary effects, like if they cause an opponent to flinch or freeze, or if they hit something with extra power if it's on a certain condition. And then we see the stats on this one, maxed out attack, and then we actually have 232 in the speed instead of a max, and we throw the rest in the HP just to give him a little bit of bulk. And that is kind of for the benefit of the Life Orb, just so we don't lose all of our health just from the Life Orb. And then the speed is kind of okay at 232, we don't need a max investment since we have Dragon Dance. Dragon Dance brings us up to like 420 something after one. Oh no, actually, we'd be hitting 350. We'd be hitting 550 or 450. I was thinking 200. We'd be hitting 450 in the speed, which would actually put us faster than a Pheromosa. I just realized that. Dear God, Feraligatr can be faster than Pheromosa. Well, I guess everything can be faster than Pheromosa. But anyway, we see max investment in the attack and 232 in the speed with a little investment in the HP, and we got the Sheer Force on there just for that extra damage, and again, Life Orb for extra damage. And the point behind this is kind of just boost yourself up with one Dragon Dance, and then you're basically good to just wall out with a bunch of moves. That we've got Waterfall getting Sheer Force boost, we've got Ice Punch getting Sheer Force boost, and we've got Earthquake getting Sheer Force boost, and those actually being 3 of Feraligatr's best move pool sets. That we see a lot of the rest of his sets don't really have as much coverage as they would. That we see he does have stuff like Ancient Power and Aqua Jet, as well as Brick Break and Crunch. And you can run Crunch. Crunch does also work with this set, but a lot of the time you're not really going to see much use for Crunch anymore. And we see stuff like Dragon Pulse and Dragon Tail, but again, not really going to see much use for dragons. Actually, I think dragons have kind of gone down since Sun and Moon. That fairies and poisons have kind of overtaken dragons. And then we see Hone Claws, Ice Fang, Low Kick. Low Kick is also another good one you can use. More power the heavier the target, so if you're coming up against something like a Guzzlord, just say I'm gonna kick you in the nuts. And we see the next Feraligatr set. It is, no. No one said you could be changing your stats. You get out of here. Yes, I still have the Miltank and Bibarel sets up. I usually delete the old sets after I do videos, after I decide if and when I would keep part of the sets, but I haven't really got around to it with Bibarel and Miltank. So anyway, we see the second set is a Lychee Berry set, which actually, I've never really used a Lychee Berry set before, but seeing it on Feraligatr actually does have decent potential. Now we see we've got Swords Dance, Substitute, and Aqua Jet with full HP and Special Defense nature, or Special Defense investment, with Jolly nature and a little bit of EVs thrown into the attack. And then we see Swords Dance is just there to kind of get us that power-up boost that Swords Dance is getting us where we need to with attack, bringing us up to around 490-something. And we see Substitute just so we don't take damage, and Aqua Jet just for that priority, plus the massive attack once we get off a Swords Dance. And with us actually having Aqua Jet, I just realized we wouldn't really need Jolly nature then, because Jolly wouldn't really do much good with Aqua Jet. So we could throw on something like a Careful nature, just give him that extra little bit of boost in special defense, or we could give him a Bold nature, an Impish nature. That with Impish, we'd be boosting our defense to make it around even. We'd have kind of a decent tanker, but at the same time, kind of not, because we'd be weaker in both defenses than strong in one defense. So honestly, I would say probably go for a Careful nature on this Feraligatr set. That probably with Careful, you're going to get a lot more distance than with Timid or with Bold, since Timid's only really giving you like a few points of speed, about 20, and Swords Dance is actually giving you your main boost, so you're going to want to just boost up the defenses with one nature. And then, like I said, Substitute just kind of for that protection, so that you don't really get damaged by a lot, and then Aqua Jet just for that hit. And Lychee Berry's just there kind of for health recovery. I did want to think Rest would run on this, but Rest, not really something that would work. Because with Rest taking up those few turns and Feraligatr not having access to Sleep Talk, it does kind of end up limiting him a little bit to his move pool. And we see this one, we actually have the Torrent ability, because with this one, you're likely to go into 1/4 HP with this Feraligatr, so you might as well just end up embracing it and getting that extra power boost once you're clear down to 1/4 power with Aqua Jet. And then we see the last Feraligatr set is kind of actually a Staller set, and I actually thought up this one once I saw Whirlpool and Toxic right next to each other, so I thought, oh god, that's actually a really good trap combo. So we see, we've got Whirlpool, Toxic, Rest, and Aqua Jet, with max HP and special defense investment, 4 EVs in the defense, and a Bold nature actually. That with this Feraligatr, we aren't really running much reason. Actually, no. It shouldn't be Bold. It should be, what's the one that boosts defense and speed? I actually don't know. Defense and speed, defense and speed, defense and speed, defense and speed, defense and speed. There we go. It should be a relaxed Feraligatr. There we go. That with us having Whirlpool, Toxic, Rest, and Aqua Jet, we're going to actually be slower, and having a defense boost nature is kind of going to make us last a little bit longer than it would if we just had almost nothing. So we see we've got the Whirlpool for continuous damage, plus keeping our enemy trapped in so they can't switch out. So if we've got our enemy stuck on something with like Leech Seed, then we can just Whirlpool them and say, okay, you're stuck here, you're going to sit down and take that damage. And then we just throw Toxic onto him and give him that extra damage. And then we've got Rest for health recovery, Chesto to get rid of the Rest for the first turn, and then we just got Aqua Jet for that remaining damage. That once we get him down into the lowest health we can just finish him off with Aqua Jet and get that priority. And then we see, again, max HP and max special defense, because we do want this to be a tank, and then 4 investment in the defense with a defense boosting nature and a speed lowering nature. And the reason speed is actually lowered on this, I actually hate using speed lowering natures. But the reason speed lowering is used on this is actually because you're not really losing much from your speed. That your speed's not really going to be providing really anything for you anyway. So you might as well just use that as a lowering stat instead of just your attack or special attack since you're going to be using both of them. Because this Feraligatr set kind of does cover both attacks, so you don't really want to lower them. That if you end up lowering one attack or the other, you're going to end up having a weaker set on a move, and that could actually lead to a loss of a KO, which is why I do really favor, when it's a mixed attack set, to lower the speed instead of the attacks. That lowering an attack with a mixed attack set would kind of be pointless because you'd be hurting yourself more than helping. But anyway, that's going to be it for how to use Feraligatr. I might do a video on Typhlosion as well, because Typhlosion is actually a little bit overpowered nowadays. Actually, it was overpowered back in X and Y, but still, Typhlosion is actually really good, so I might do him as well. But this is going to be it for how to use Feraligatr. Like I said, Sheer Force got released back after X and Y and Oris, so it actually made Feraligatr get a little bit more usefulness. That before, it really just had Torrent with the Aqua Jet and Life Orb set, and you couldn't really do much with that because, okay, but I'm not getting enough power to kill. Anyway, I'm going to leave this video here. If you guys liked it, you can slap the like button as always, and I will see you guys later.